What's up, guys? It's Benny. Who could have predicted this? The White House and Joe Rogan are at war again. Joe Rogan endorsed Donald Trump in 2024. He had Donald Trump on a podcast for 3 hours. He sits with Donald Trump at UFC events. Joe Rogan likes Donald Trump and says he texts with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's been saying the same thing for the better part of the last 30 years that Donald Trump has been commenting on foreign policy and American domestic policy and how they intersect. Donald Trump has said for 30 years consistently that we have too many foreign workers in this country, that too many foreign countries are taking advantage of us, and most recently that we have too many criminal aliens in this country, something that is a recent phenomenon with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of criminal aliens pouring into our nation every single year over our open border. But it's been going on for a long time. Anyway, the point is, Donald Trump is the individual who's been consistent about these things. He has wanted to fix these problems, and he said so on Joe's show. And so now Joe Rogan is upset that Donald Trump is doing those things, which of course begs the question, who's the one being inconsistent here? If Donald Trump's the one saying, I am going to do this, and then he gets elected president and he does this, and you helped him get elected president, which I would argue Joe Rogan did more than almost anyone in 2024 to get Donald Trump elected. I mean, he endorsed the guy, right? On the eve of the election. The most sought after endorsement probably in the world. Well, you know what? You got to just call a spade a spade. I like Joe Rogan. But the problem with people that either smoke too much weed or have too many liberal friends, he still ends up thinking like California. He still ends up thinking like he's living in California and he has all these California friends. And he still probably does. And so Joe Rogan is out attacking the White House, attacking the Trump administration on an episode with Rand Paul, saying that ICE is behaving like the Gestapo. No, ICE is behaving like a law enforcement agency that has to fight blue city sanctuary law rules that prevent the federal government from coming in and snatching criminal aliens and sending them back home where they belong. This is the law of the land. It is the blue states and blue cities that are breaking that law. ICE is doing their job and doing probably the most dangerous job in the world right now. Here's Joe Rogan, though, crying about it.
Right, and they don't want those laws. They don't like those laws. They think that once people are here, they should be able to stay. And, this is what my friend Gad Saad calls suicidal empathy.
Yep,
I
follow him.
And I think there's a balance to be achieved. I just don't know how it gets done, because I see both perspectives. I see the perspective of the people that say, hey, there was an illegal program moving people in here to get votes, moving people in here to get congressional seats, and we've got to change that. We've got to take those people that got in and send them back to where they came from or do something, because if we don't, they're going to keep doing it if they get in office again in 2028, and it's going to accelerate. And you're going to have to take away some of the damage that's been done to a true democratic system, because you've kind of hijacked it, and they kind of have. And then I can also see the point of view of the people that say, yeah, but you don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to? So it's more complicated than I think people want to admit. People want to look at this as a black and white issue, if you're a compassionate person or if you're a pragmatic person. And I don't think that's true. I think it's both. But
I think the argument needs to be made again and again, and the left needs to hear that they have created this situation by disobeying the immigration laws, by ignoring the deportation orders, by not reporting people who are committing crimes. Now, we're not talking about some guy mowing lawns. We're talking about somebody who stole a car, somebody who raped somebody. They are in jail. So this isn't the ordinary working person who's here illegally. We're talking about the criminal illegals in our country.
Well, I think most people were in favor of getting rid of gang members, criminals, murderers, rapists. Most people were in favor of getting rid of those people.
But the thing is that the left-wing cities that are sanctuary cities are not reporting that. That's part of the reason why ICE is in Minnesota.
And a good example of that is Aurora, right? Aurora, Colorado, where Trent Dogwell was taking over apartment buildings, and they were a sanctuary city, so the police literally could do nothing about it, which is just pure insanity.
Yep.
It's a lot of problems.
Joe Rogan would then go on to further criticize ICE and talking about militarized cities and people snatching up individuals. I mean, listen, cops sometimes mistakes get made. Cops make arrests or give parking tickets or speeding tickets that they shouldn't. Whatever, mistakes do happen in law enforcement. But to sit there and to platform Trump and to platform Trump's platform and then to be upset when that platform is ugly, because it is. That's what the design of this, the design of bringing 30 million criminal aliens into our country. The Democrats know that it will be ugly when you remove them, that you'll try to create a play emotionally when you remove them. I mean, it's not going to work for me. I don't care. These people came into the country illegally. Emotional plays are not going to work. You can go home and you can wait like everybody else. And this is what we voted for. It's literally what we voted for. And here's Joe bitching about it again.
Then they start showing up at Home Depot. Instead of looking for gangbangers, looking for criminals and cartel members, they go to whatever's easiest pickings so they can get numbers up. There's do you know Ed Calderon? Do you know who he is? He worked. He was a Mexican military guy who now is an American citizen, but he reports extensively on the cartels, and just was telling me some horror stories about ICE raids. And one of them was they took this guy who had been brought over here when he was a baby, but didn't have American citizenship. His family, came over here illegally, lived here for 20 years, can't speak Spanish. They deport him, send him to Tijuana.
Can't speak Spanish.
Can't speak Spanish. Does not speak Spanish. He is essentially an American citizen. He just never lived anywhere else. He just doesn't have the paperwork. He's not a criminal. They sent him over to Tijuana, and now he has to live in Mexico. He doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's on the streets. Has no idea. He doesn't have any money.
The White House has responded, Tricia McLaughlin, with DHS, one of our all-time favorites, going hard in the paint at Joe Rogan, saying, you know what? Sorry you got what you voted for.
Matching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
So I know you and I talk a lot about communications and PR, and how would the department respond to that concern that he raised?
Well, this answer is very straightforward. If Tim Walz, if Mayor Fry would let us in their jails, we wouldn't have to be there at all. Currently, there are 680 criminal illegal aliens. Dana, that includes murderers, that includes rapists, child pedophiles, people who, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you would never want these people to be on your streets or your neighbors. That's the people who we are targeting, and we are trying to get out of Minneapolis. Because we don't have state and local law enforcement's help, we do have to have a physical presence on the ground there. And I know in the interview as well, and what Joe Rogan just mentioned is the rampant crime we found, more than $9 billion, and we believe that's just the tip of the iceberg. If the state and local government would help there, if they would coordinate with the FBI, if they would coordinate with Homeland Security investigations, we would, on an expedited basis, be finding that fraud. And I think that all Americans would be better off for it. We want to give accountability. We want to give answers.
The reality is that the world is an ugly place, and to keep safe, you sometimes got to do ugly things. And so the real problem are the people attacking ICE agents and stopping the laws of the land from being enforced. That's what's actually ugly. But you don't have to see it every single day. You just have to watch a funeral every once in a while for Lake and Riley. Yeah, it's amazing how you never hear anything about that. Anyway, it's your boy Benny. If you agree, like, share, and subscribe. If you disagree, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.